Thank you, Lucky. Hey everyone, I've got a confession to make. You might not be able to tell from the way I look, but I used to be a gym junkie. 4 or 5 times a week I'd be at the gym, hardcore weights training, pre-exhaustion, supersets, high intensity training. Raise your hand if you're a gym junkie. No gym junkies in the house? Raise your hand if you go to the gym. A few people? Amos?
Yes.
How many times per week do you go to the gym?
5.
And you say you're not a gym junkie. Well, take me through your routine. What's the first thing you do when you get to the gym?
Well, good hearty half an hour cardio followed by double supersets of shoulders and back
Okay.
exercise, and closing up with a sit-up and a good swim.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like you've got a certain routine that you follow to ensure you get the maximum benefits from your workout. Yeah. Well, when I started working out, I had no routine. This was back in high school, and once a semester we got to choose which sport we wanted to do for sports day. So one semester I chose to do weights training. Every week the supervising teacher would open up the gym, and we were allowed to go in and use the weights equipment, the cardio equipment, and that was it. There was no instructions. We were allowed to go in and do whatever exercise we wanted. So week after week, I'd go to the gym, I'd do a few different weights exercises, but I wasn't really sure how many repetitions I should be doing, how heavy the weight should be, if I should be doing stretching. I wasn't sure on any of this stuff. So at the end of the semester, I was a bit more experienced in using the different weights, but I had no real gains in muscle size or strength. Now, weights training was something that I generally became interested in. So I started looking for better ways to structure my workout so I could actually get stronger. Now, I joined the local gym, and every now and again, I'd pick up new tips from an experienced weights trainer. I tried out these new tips, and after a while, I started getting stronger. And this motivated me to keep trying new things, to keep trying out new tips so I could keep getting better. And from there, I became a gym junkie. Now, when I started with Toastmasters and public speaking, I carried on that same mindset of looking for better ways to structure my speech so I could get the best results every time I gave a speech. Now, I studied from the speakers who were getting the results that I desired. Experienced Toastmasters, contest winners, professional speakers, world champions of public speaking. Now, out of all of the speakers that I've learned from, there are a select few lessons that I learned where I noticed a significant improvement in my speech writing and presentation skills. If I could turn back the clock and talk to myself as a beginner speaker, turn back the clock many years, these are the fundamental lessons that I would have first taught myself, because until I learnt these lessons, I would unconsciously make the same mistakes over and over again. Just like if I could turn back the clock to when I was doing the weights training in high school, I would have told myself all the tips I needed to get the best results for the amount of effort that I put in. Now, it took me years to get good results out of the gym, and it took me years to get good results from constructing and delivering a speech. Now, how would you feel if you could cut years off your learning curve by installing the right tools that will get you the best results and confidently remembering and delivering your speech every time? Would you feel good?
Yeah.
Well, in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to give you the tools that you can use to structure your speech in a way that keeps your audience engaged and eager to hear everything you have to say. Now, these tools come to you in the form of the TTT principle, which it's the first tool that every speaker must know. Then we'll look at ways that you can construct the opening, the body, and the closing of your speech using a proven method that will guarantee your message gets remembered every time. You guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if as a speaker you want to have any hope of delivering a coherent speech, it's critical that you understand this first tool. This is the first thing that I learned when I joined this club 4 years ago. Now, if you had been there with me that day as I sat nervously at the front of the room, you would have seen Jim, the president at the time, step onto the stage and ask a question. Have you heard of the TTT approach to speech writing? Now, raise your hand if you've heard of the TTT approach. You've heard of it? Lucky, tell me what it is.
The first T is tell them what you will tell them. The second one is tell them what you want to tell them. And third one is tell them what you just told them.
That's right.
The repetitions.
That's right. TTT is an acronym. So the first T stands for tell the audience what you're going to tell them, and that's the opening of your speech. The second T stands for tell the audience what you want to tell them. That's the body of your speech. And the third T stands for tell the audience what you just told them. That's the closing of your speech. Now, if you think of any speech, the speaker will start by introducing the agenda of the speech. Then they'll go through the agenda items one by one. Then they'll finish up the speech by summarising the main points they've just delivered. Now, the TTT approach might sound repetitive, but that's the whole point. What gets repeated gets remembered. You see, the truth is most people retain little information from listening. Some people have gone on to quote research that suggests you will forget 50% of what you have heard in 24 hours, and you retain less than 25% after 48 hours. So the TTT approach is a good starting point. The TTT approach also ensures that you have an opening, a body, and a closing. And that's the essential elements right there for a well-rounded speech. Because if you don't have an opening, what can happen if you don't have an opening? You might lose the audience, they might not be fully sure what you're talking about or what's coming up next. Likewise, the closing is just as important. Closing is really important because people remember best what they hear and see last. So if you don't remind your audience of the main points that you've just covered, it's likely they'll forget most of what you've just talked about in your speech. So at the very least, I recommend using the TTT approach because it ensures that you have an opening, a body, and a closing, which are the essential elements for a well-rounded speech. I'll give your audience the impression that you've got a well-rounded speech. So now you guys know the TTT approach, which I recommend is a good starting point. But what next? Well, if you want to have any hope of delivering a speech that'll really engage your audience, then you'll want to pick up these next tools for constructing an opening, the body, and the closing of your speech. All right, in this segment, we're going to analyse a contest video, a speech that was presented at a contest. I want you to watch and listen to this speech and note down anything you find particularly effective. Now, this particular speech was presented at the end of last year in the United States at the district level Toastmasters Humour Speech Competition. All right, let's check out the video.
Contestant number 4, please come forward to the stage.